You know, Chad put Alex on a mission, told him how important he was in the grand scheme of their, they didn't call it a cult, we call it a cult, but the prophecy that he was saying was coming at the end of times, which he had predicted to come on a certain date in 2022. Let's take a listen to Chad's own words that the jury got to hear.
To go among the people and testify as a prophet that they can make it. You'll share your own experiences of overcoming adversity, and through your example they will rise up. You will give tremendous blessings to them, raise their vibrations, and be like a brother to many of these fathers who may have had doubts, but through your strength they will look to you as a hero, and you'll bring entire families that have been sanctified to the gates of New Jerusalem. They will be allowed in on your word.
Okay, there's something about these leaders who are able to attract people to themselves. Just what's your reaction to hearing his voice there?
It's eerie. I really felt disgusted listening to his voice, and particularly knowing the facts that we know as they're folding in this trial. But this is a cult-like voice, and whether he believes what he's saying or not, or whether he's just spinning, knowing the heinous crimes perhaps that he committed, it's eerie, and if I feel that way, I imagine that the jurors will feel equally uncomfortable and maybe disgusted in hearing the voice and hearing the message.
And Sika, can I ask you a follow-up to that? You mentioned whether he believes it or not. Thinking about Vallow Daybell sitting there inside of the courtroom and her attorney pointing the finger at Chad, will it matter to this jury if she truly believed what Chad was saying?
I don't think it will, because what the jury is going to see is a woman who seems like she's a cold-blooded murderer, and she has a cold heart. They're going to see that she knows the difference between right and wrong. She knew what she was doing, and whether she believed what her husband was saying or not is not relevant to her actions.
And she's there in the courtroom now. We thought there might be a chance that they would be on trial together initially in this case, but then there was a motion to sever, and these two cases were separated from each other. But Ted, just what are your thoughts on how much more impactful it would have been to see both of them on trial together? Or do you think this is an appropriate way to move forward with separate trials for each of these defendants?
It's always more difficult to prosecute people separately when they're involved in the same crime, because the information that's being used against one will be sent again against the other one. And trying to make sure that witnesses are consistent in their testimony is sometimes a problem, especially when it's an emotional trial like this one. But given their actions and how they were able to accomplish this conspiracy and lead to all these people's deaths, it's just overwhelming evidence, and unfortunately, the severance is what they need to do to make sure that the legal system is appropriately applied. But in essence, the evidence is just too deep, and regardless of what they do to try to distinguish themselves from one another, the guilt is obvious.
Absolutely, you are right. This is to make sure it is fair. This will help prosecutors if there's an appeal in this case, to make sure that both of these two defendants were given, or all their rights were protected in front of this jury.